I believe in a broad, flexible interpretation of the Constitution.
And I believe the Constitution must be interpreted strictly.
So when I backed the attempt by Congress to establish a national bank, Jefferson here opposed it, despite the fact that the bank was needed.
Nowhere does the Constitution give Congress the power to establish such a bank.
It does, however, instruct Congress to make all laws necessary to carry out its tasks.
The word necessary does not merely mean convenient.
So, as you see, Jefferson favors a federal government bound hand and foot by his strict interpretation of the Constitution, whereas I urge a loose construction, a doctrine of implied powers, enabling our president and federal government to act energetically.
All powers not expressly delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states and to the people. For Congress or the president to take a single step beyond these limits is for them to grasp unlimited power.
And yet, when you were President of the United States, did you not come to recognize the need for the federal government to improve rivers for navigation and to construct roads and canals?
I did.
And these goals, worthy as they were, required money.
A good deal of money.
And this money came largely through taxes.
Yes.
But in your first inaugural address, didn't you promise not to take from the mouth of labor the bread it had earned?
Some expenditures are obviously necessary to encourage growth and for the safety of the nation.
I see. As president, how did you stand in relation to the Constitution when you purchased Louisiana from Napoleon? Did Congress amend the Constitution to give you power to do this?
No, but speed was vital before Napoleon changed his mind.
Did you acquire the citizens of Louisiana, with or without their consent?
Without, but I repeat, speed was essential.
Well, since the Constitution nowhere gave you the power to make this expedient purchase, how did you justify it?
Thomas Paine suggested a rationale, which I accepted, that the acquisition made no alteration in the Constitution, only extending its jurisdiction over a wider area.
I see.
What is practical must often control what is pure theory.
What about the Barbary Coast pirates? Did you not fight a war against the Pasha of Tripoli?
I would not actually call it a war.
But you did bombard and blockade Tripoli.
Yes.
And American lives were lost.
They had to be taught to respect our flag.
But this was not a war.
War was never declared.
You sent in a squadron of frigates.
Yes.
Without prior consultation with Congress.
A quick response to their insults and exactions was necessary.
Yet this was not a war.
I have already answered that question,
Despite
Mr.
battles
Hamilton.
fought and lives lost.
No.
Respectfully, sir, just what is your definition of a war?
I had to do it. I had to.
Bravo, Jefferson. I approve. You turned out to be a firm and decisive chief executive after all. Positively Hamiltonian, if I say so myself.
I stretched the Constitution to the breaking point.
It was made to stretch.
I was compelled to establish a permanent armed force.
Which I pray has made itself felt in the world.
My hope is the good common sense of the people will warn them when our leaders go too far.
My hope is the good common sense of the people allows our leaders to go far enough. Thomas, you realize we're all alone here now? We don't even have an end to this film.
He told us it was to be short, didn't he?
Do you think it's gone on long enough?
We could ask them.
All they do is point their infernal machines at us.
I think we must try and return to where we were before.
You mean by lying down and going to sleep?
Yes. Do you agree?
Agreed.
Shall we?
Thomas.
Yes, Alexander.
How remarkably different our visions have been. I dreamed of a bustling nation full of commerce and industry. A nation that would make its mark on history.
I dreamed of honest yeomen tilling the soil. In a country whose silent path of happiness would find nothing for history to say.
You believed in the voice of the people.
And you feared the anarchy of the mob.
But the nation has survived, Thomas. It has survived.
I wonder, was it because of us and our disagreements?
Or in spite of us?
Good night, Alexander.
Good night, Thomas.